Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
And welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio program. It's hard to believe, Frank, or is it just me that it seemed like we just started a few minutes ago? It probably feels like 3 hours to you, maybe, since you're on the phone, but it's
fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio.
I think it is. And this next guest would have really appreciated the previous interview because not only do we have Steve Mcadams on the show, who 44 years have been guiding at Kentucky Lake, and during all those 44 years, he has had an opinion about the TWRA. I can tell you that. And And we threw in Jim Perry as a surprise guest. So we had Jim Perry and Steve Mcadams harping on each other like they have for the last 50 years or so. And now we follow that segment with a guy that I am really proud for, a guy that's started here just about and has now become the executive director of the TWRA. For me, he becomes only the third executive director that I've had to work for in my capacity as an outdoor communicator, and with the TWRA being a sponsor of this show. And we try to be the voice of the TWRA in the Mid-South at least every week with each one segment. Who better to close out today's show than the head man himself, and that's our good friend Bobby Wilson. Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, Larry. I'm surprised you didn't introduce me as the father of Glen Springs Lake.
Well, that was going to be later. I was trying to remember your license plate more than that. So, fish head. It just doesn't go along now, Bobby. So,
I know.
Yeah, I know, because now you're driving that big TWR executive limousine that you have now in your position.
If you want to call a Ford Explorer a limousine, that's okay. But yeah,
that is a limousine to me. I can tell you that
it's
for
nice.
a fact. Yeah,
I'm not complaining. It is. It's a nice vehicle. I like
that's good. Is that oil leak still there with it? I mean, no.
Yeah. Well,
Bobby, you've been on. What?
I've owned a lot of Ford vehicles, so I'm not going to complain.
I'm not going to complain, and Frank's not going to complain either. So, okay, Bobby, 4.5 months now on the job, trying to follow Ed Carter, who was the man that tried to follow Gary Myers. So, talk about 4.5 months on the job. And I think you're getting ready we're getting ready to hit the hunting seasons, all the things going on, the carp that we're dealing, the Asian carp and things along that line. Talk about the first 4.5 months.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. First of all, let me just say we miss Ed Carter every day.
Yeah.
And I've been in touch with him several times, and he's doing well. He seems to be enjoying retirement. I know he misses everybody, he misses the job, but I think he's enjoying his new role too. So, but yeah, there's the 4.5 months has gone by pretty fast. We're right in the middle of the COVID stuff, and our office has been shut down for the most part, and so it's been kind of a slow transition in a lot of ways, which I guess is good. I mean, I didn't just jump right into the frying pan. I kind of eased into it a little bit, and but it's still been busy. We work from the office. I work from the office a lot. Hardly anybody's there because it's closed, and sometimes I work from home, but it's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff going on. We can take care of business as usual from our homes or from wherever because of technology now. And so it's worked out really well. A lot more phone calls than I've had, a lot more emails than I had one before. But that I kind of expected that. So no, not a real big surprise there.
And Bobby, I know we have so many things. First, let's talk about the carp situation, because you've been on top of that from the get-go when you were the chief of fisheries, and things have really been evolving on that, and Frank Fist and all the gang have kept up with those. And, so talk about that from the TWRA standpoint. What's happening with that?
Well, the Asian carp are probably one of our two main issues of concern.
We'll talk about the other one next. We'll talk about the other one next. But
okay, yeah, but Asian carp, it's they've been around. They haven't been around that long when you think about it. I mean, we first saw the first one I ever saw in the Mississippi River was back around 2000. So it's been about 20 years, and even then it was like a novelty.
Yep.
We were like, wow, there's an Asian carp right there. And then a year or two later, we started seeing a few little ones, and we thought, uh-oh. And then, it wasn't long after that they were going through the locks at Kentucky Dam and Barkley Dam and causing, I don't say causing problems, but causing concern because they were into our interior waters, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's been a struggle because initially a lot of the fishermen, we try to get their attention, and they'd say, okay, good. They weren't seeing them. I mean, there was not many there.
Right.
And as when the fishermen don't see them, it's not a big deal for the politicians either because they're not here. They're not getting the phone calls. So they started rallying more around 2010, 11, and about 2015 there was a huge, there was an influx or a spawn of small carp, small Asian carp in Kentucky and Park. We don't know if they spawned somewhere in the lakes or in the rivers leading to the lakes, or if they migrated through the locks, or a combination of both. But anyway, they were there, big numbers. That's what people are still seeing today, and they're so the bigger they are, and they jump higher, and they jump in a boat. People get scared, of course, and then to top it off, when the fishing declined some in Kentucky Lake, especially for crappie, and for let's see, crappie and bass. Excuse me, my mind was sidetracked for just a second. Back about a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, the fishermen just were hammering, saying it's because of the Asian carp.
Yes.
And we're not saying that it wasn't or not, but I mean these populations of crappie and bass, they've been going through cycles for years since the lake's been formed, even before Asian carp were there.
Yes.
So, but the good news is the crappie seem to be the population is back.
Mcadams just said that.
Fishing.
Yeah, Mcadams
just
said that. Yes, he
thought. Good. I'm glad we agree. By the way, I've known Steve and Jim Perry for
forever,
a long time, and I think the world, both of them, they're good people.
They love it. They love what they do, and that's what we need, people like that. But again, we're talking to Bobby Wilson, the executive director of TWRA, primarily about Asian carp because that's on the agenda. But in our time frame, we also have chronic wasting disease to deal with, Bobby, and that's going to be on your realm, so to speak. And we're cranking up there. The next meeting, the Facebook meeting, October 29th at noon Central Time on the TWRA Facebook page. I'm reminding you folks about that, October the 29th. And I think that's a good way. Since your job has become, we've got to communicate to the people, Bobby. And I know you're a communicator, and so these type meetings are the kind of things that I think we need, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I agree, yeah. They're essential. They're important. We've done a pretty good job. We've had quite a few meetings over the last couple of years, public meetings.
Yeah.
In-service meetings, and the extension service has helped us too. So we've done a lot. So I know that there are probably people out there still say we should do more, and that we're not satisfied. We still want to do more. So
good, yeah. Now, don't ever be status quo, Bobby. And I don't think
never.
I think you have to compete. You got to keep going and going because you can't please everybody all the time. Most people, none of the time. So I think Abraham Lincoln might have said that. I don't know. It just came out of my mouth. I don't know where that came from.
They just been Larry Ray. But
I know. I wanted to say I did mention you on the Asian carp real quickly. Frank and I, as Frank's listening in, Frank used to you don't have that airboat anymore, right, Frank?
A few times.
Yeah, but do you have one still? Do you have one?
I still have the airboat.
Okay. Well, Frank took me and my wife out in the airboat, and that was my first experience with Asian carp. I don't know when that was, Frank, 4 or 5 years ago, I guess. I don't know. And they were jumping in that airboat, Bobby, like they were going crazy, and it was fun.
Yeah.
But then I realized that. Now, there is no fun in chronic wasting disease, and there's no fun in Asian carp. So you got two things you got on your plate right now, and that's a load to accept. And not that Ed didn't deal with that too, but so what's ahead now? Well,
I think we're in a pretty good spot. I know for Asian carp we have a plan. we've got a managed plan for chronic wasting disease. We have a plan for that too. But just real quick on Asian carp, the governor issued Executive Order number 62 that creates the Asian Carp Advisory Commission, and that they're supposed to. I mean, that was just like within weeks ago. So that'll be forthcoming, and they'll be hopefully help coordinate some movement towards management and control that's beyond what we can do. So that's what we're hoping to get out of it. And you know, our idea is to keep from spreading them anymore by people, like buckets, bait buckets.
Yes.
Also put barriers up where we can eventually, if they can. You know, somebody's got to do that. It's real expensive for us to do, for the state of Tennessee and TWA, and then also to fish them down in the population by commercial fishing methods. And so those are the main three things we're going to work on for Asian carp. And
I know, but
we think it's working already.
I think it is too. We've had good reports.
5 billion pounds out of there in just the last 2 years.
We only got a couple of minutes. I know the CWD is also we're way ahead in killing deer. I mean, that's what you want.
Yep.
I mean, we had Jeremy Dennison on here a couple of weeks ago. Going to have Chuck Yost on next week's show, folks. To talk about
you
deer.
don't really need me to say anything with those two guys because they're the experts. They fill me in on what's going on, and I kind of give the synopsis version of it. But I know that they're dedicated. We've also, our commission is dedicated. They created. They expanded our budget to get 10 new positions for chronic wasting disease.
Yes.
As well as 4 new positions for Asian carp, by the way.
Is that not?
So it's important on everybody's. It's important for our commission. It's important for us, and we're trying to, get way ahead of it and try to manage it the best we can. So. Neither one of them are pleasant to work with. We like the days when we could stock animals, fish, deer, turkeys, and it was all great. Yeah. Now we got to deal with invasive species. So.
Yeah, been there and done all that. Bobby Wilson, thank you, buddy, for being with us on this Saturday morning. We will stay in touch. Appreciate the TWRA, and we'll do all we can to spread the word over here. Okay, man?
Y'all always do. And thank you so much, Larry. And thank you, Frank.
Okay. Thank you, Bobby. All right.
Bobby
have a
good
Wilson.
Day.
Thank you. Frank, before we go, and as I hinted, we will talk a little deer next week with Chuck Yost if everything works out. Andy Tweed's going to be on the show next week. And, of course, Frank knows Andy. Andy is almost 30 years as a wildlife officer here in Southwest Tennessee. And then, of course, Ron Wong and Bill Cooksey will be on with us next week. Frank, we will talk to you in a month on the third Saturday. And hope everything is going well for you. Where do you plan to be on this Saturday?
When we get done, I am going out to Lansing Bottoms.
All right. Okay. Yes. All right, Frank.
And I'm going to work on a duck pit when we get done.
Well, Frank,
try and get a duck pit ready for a few weeks from now.
I can't wait, Frank. I'm really excited this year, Frank. I really have a real field this year. I bought my license. I'm ready. Okay? All right?
I'm ready for you to come with me. I plan on going more this year than I have in the past.
I think I will.
And I go a lot.
I know you do go a lot. All right, let's get out of here. Frank Barton, thank you for being with us. Shelby McCall, thank you for being that great show producer that you are. And remember, in 2 weeks, show number 500, we're really going to have some special things going on that. But as we close, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else, Frank?
God bless the USA.